Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to LFS and Next Step session. Officially, congratulations to every single one of you on your offer of admission to the University of British Columbia and the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, which we call LFS for short, since it's a very long name. We are really excited to be with you this evening to share in this excitement and celebrate with all of you, and hopefully give you the information that you need to make a decision as to whether or not the LFS faculty is the right place for you and your post-secondary studies in the year to come. We are all coming to you today from the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. Really privileged to be able to work, learn, play on this incredible land. And the Land and Food Systems faculty is deeply connected to the land. It is in our name, after all. And we are really committed to working with our Indigenous communities and students through our curriculum and our research. And for those of you who are passionate about, interested in, or curious about learning about the history of Indigenous peoples in this space, you will have many opportunities to engage with both learning and unlearning as a student at UBC, and specifically in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. So if that's something you're really passionate about, and I'm really proud to say that that's something you'll have a chance to engage with during your time in LFS. My name is Christine Klaray. My pronouns are she, her. I am the Director of Student Services in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. What is that job, you might ask? Well, I have the privilege of leading the support team that provides support to all of you as students in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems through your academic, personal, and professional journeys as students here at UBC. So we provide academic advising. So if you have questions about registration, what courses to take, how to plan your program, you're struggling in a course and need some help, you need support in navigating a pathway forward through your program, you're deciding between majors, you're unsure what to do, our academic advisors provide that help and support. We also provide engagement advising to help you get involved on campus, provide leadership opportunities and programs, some of which you'll hear about through the student stories this evening. We also provide dedicated career support for students through a dedicated career advisor to help you understand how to translate your LFS experiences and your UBC experiences into career learning, and to know how to connect that to careers after graduation. And we'll have a chance to highlight an event coming up about careers in LFS later on this evening as well. And we also provide wellness support for those of you who might be looking for different strategies to stay well as students, whether you're dealing with minor challenges throughout your undergraduate degree or ongoing challenges that impact your ability to engage with your academics. And then we have an entire team of student staff to support you as well through all of the different initiatives that we provide to support you as students. And if ever in doubt as a place to go for help, the Student Services spot is the place to come, and we will definitely help you find the way forward. And I have the privilege of leading that team and collaborating together with an exceptional group of professionals to help make your undergraduate experience as positive and healthy as possible. Tonight we also have Ayasha joining us, so I'll let her introduce herself next.
Hello everybody, my name is Ayasha. I'm in my 4th year studying a Bachelor's of Food, Nutrition, Health, and Nutritional Sciences. So my role is an LFS Student Ambassador. So we focus on student recruitment initiatives. We talk with prospective students and introduce them to the wonderful programs that LFS has to offer. Yeah, and I'll pass it back to Christine and I'll let her take it away.
Thank you. Really excited to have Ayasha with us today. We also have Beth and Alicia, so I'll ask them to give a quick wave. You're going to get a chance to meet and hear from both Beth and Alicia, as well as Ayasha later on in the presentation. So I'm really looking forward to having the opportunity for you to learn a little bit about the student experience in LFS as well. Nathan, I see that you have your hand raised. Did you have a quick question that you needed answered before we move forward, or is that an accident?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So with the Student Service Center, how should we get in contact with our advisors?
We will give you all of that information at the conclusion of tonight's presentation, so you know exactly how to get in touch with the people you need to get in touch with. Sound good? Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. All right, so for today's agenda, we're going to be doing an introduction to the faculty itself. Some of you might have a lot of confidence in knowing what the Faculty of Land and Food Systems is, what your undergraduate experience could look like. You may have already accepted your offer and said, yes, 100%, I'm coming, I can't wait. And there also might be some of you who are like, I don't know what this faculty is, but I'm excited and I just want to learn more and better understand what lies ahead for me. So we're going to cover all of that for you today. What we would like to do is protect questions for the end of the presentation. We are going to hold some space for a Q&A. So we are going to create a space where you can put your questions as they come up throughout the presentation that we will come back to as a group later. Ayasha, do you want to talk a little bit about Slido?
Yes, so I'll move on to the next slide that has the Slido QR code. Perfect. Okay. So if you have any burning questions, I will put a link in the chat, or you can also take a screenshot of the QR code to access the Slido. And this is where you'll paste your questions. And you can, if you have questions that are similar to other students, that'll be moved up upon all the questions. But yeah, if you have any burning questions about LFS, about Land 1, or what courses to take, you can post your questions on the Slido. And we'll get to those questions at the end of the presentation.
Great, thanks, Ayasha. So yes, if you can take this note down, Ayasha will post it into the chat feature of Zoom as well. We are looking to avoid using the chat feature for Q&A just because it is a little difficult with a group this large to manage the questions in that space. So we just ask that you post your questions into the chat feature. It's possible that a lot of your questions will get answered throughout the presentation, which is fantastic. But if you have a question that you just can't wait to ask, just dump it into the Slido, and then we will be able to go through all of them during the question and answer period of our presentation this evening. And if you've got the same question, you can actually upvote the question, and then it'll rise to the surface, and we'll be sure to get through all of them tonight so you all get answers to your questions, because that's what this event is for. So what is the Faculty of Land and Food Systems? What is LFS? What is this special place that we're all so excited to share with you tonight? Well, the Faculty of Land and Food Systems is a faculty in the University of British Columbia faculty families. It is a little bit on the smaller side, which offers us an opportunity to create some really special experiences, which you'll get a chance to hear about through myself and through the student stories this evening as well. We are science faculty, so all of you have been admitted to either the Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health. Hands up if you are admitted into the FNH, the Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health program. Oh, a few claps, amazing. Hand raise. You can give me a thumbs up. Fantastic. Well, congratulations to all of you. That is the largest of the 4 undergraduate degrees that we have here in LFS. How many of you have been admitted into the Bachelor of Science in Applied Biology? Fantastic. Congratulations to you as well. Wonderful. Congratulations. So that's the second largest program that we have here. So all of our undergraduate degrees are science degrees, and the Faculty of Land and Food Systems is a world leader in research, education, and service. And you're really looking at grounding your scientific knowledge and understanding in a way that translates to have social impact on the world around you. One of the values that really unites the students in this faculty is the commitment and compassion and the care for the people, the planet, the animals, and everyone around us, to really take care of what we have in different ways, and looking at these global and local issues around human health and a sustainable food supply from multiple perspectives to solve some of these challenges in really tangible and collaborative ways. We are ranked number 1 in Canada, 19th in the world in agriculture and forestry. So when you are making a decision to come to UBC, which in and of itself is one of the top ranked universities in the world, for you to come to a place where you are also attending not only one of the top 25 public research institutions in the world, you're also attending one of the top agriculture schools in the world. And that is a general term used to describe all of the science degrees that we have in LFS. Although not every student is studying agriculture in the traditional sense, everyone is connected to the food system and the different ways in which food engages in our lives. And it's really that holistic approach to really understanding the impact of what we grow, how we grow it, the decisions we make as a community about how we produce food, how we transport food, how we as humans utilize food for nutrition and well-being, the impact that that can have on public health, looking at things through the lens of policy, and really tying everything together. And the exciting thing is that you're going to get a chance to be challenged and learn in really unique and special ways by students who are studying many different disciplines to look at how some of these larger issues can be solved in a collaborative way, as I mentioned, since no solution can be solved through the lens of one discipline of science on its own. And that was what makes LFS such a unique and special place to be. So why might you study in the Land and Food Systems faculty? So I mentioned that we're a relatively small faculty on the UBC campus. We are very privileged to be part of UBC. It is a large, world-known campus institution, which means that it comes with a plethora of resources, supports, and services, and opportunities for you as students to really make it your own. The motto of UBC is Tuum Est, it's yours, and it really is your opportunity to make the most of your university experience in a way that really translates for you. And what is really special about LFS is you get the opportunity to engage with this larger campus community while also being part of a more tight-knit community that we have here in LFS. We have about 1,800 students who study across our 4 Bachelor of Science degrees, and it's really exciting when the students get to know each other. We as staff get to know our students really well, and the faculty members you get to engage with start to know you very well as well. And it creates a really beautiful space where people are coming together and having the chance to know the names, not just the faces of the people that you're sitting in class with and engaging in group work with and going on field trips with and having the chance to see around campus. As I mentioned, it's really a focus on looking at local and global issues from a dynamic perspective and looking at issues from multiple lenses, understanding the political, economic, social impact while having this really strong foundation in science so that you can show up in spaces and have real comments to make and real perspectives on the way of what the issues entail, and being able to come into those conversations with confidence is something that we want to provide for all of our students. And then as well, an opportunity for you to learn in very tangible and hands-on way through a bunch of different experiences that are really different from student to student. And we're really privileged to have one of those students with us tonight. So I'm going to pass it over to Ayasha to introduce herself and share a little bit about why she decided to come to LFS and UBC. So Ayasha, over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayasha and I'm in my 5th year of studies here at UBC. So it is my last year, I'm going to be graduating, and I'm in the food nutrition and health program, and I have a specialization in there, and it's with nutritional sciences. So it's more like research and like bench science, clinical based. And I also have a minor in commerce. So that is an additional thing I chose to add on to my major. And the reason that I chose LFS at UBC is because I knew that I really valued science and having that like research perspective and that those analytical skills. But I also really wanted to work towards something with my degree. I wanted to feel that what I'm doing is going to have a greater impact on those around me. So I chose to go into nutritional sciences specifically so I can learn more about healthcare systems and kind of have more of a holistic understanding of human health, which I found this to be the case. And if you look at my pictures, I have 3 different pictures, and throughout my 5 years at UBC, I've been quite involved in the faculty. So the first one you see is actually a summer I spent abroad. As a student at LFS, you can also do exchange. This is also like an additional thing you can do. So I chose actually to go to Copenhagen, Denmark. And the picture in here, you see my friends and I, we are right now in Brussels, Belgium, because we went on a school field trip there. And the class that I took here was post-colonial studies in Europe. So as you see, there's like so many different subjects and disciplines that can count towards credit for your LFS degree. So you can have more of a interdisciplinary understanding. And the middle picture is actually me at Imagine Day. So all of you guys that are going to be here in your first year, this is your orientation day. And I'm actually, well, I was a part of the undergraduate society here at LFS. And so basically we're the group of students that represent all of the LFS students in faculty and UBC governance. So basically we're part of the student union. And I was actually the president of that LFS undergraduate society last year. And so it's just me and my friends. We're hanging out ice cream to all the first years. It's a really fun day. I think you guys have lots to look forward to. And in the very far picture, it's me and my executive team at the LFS Undergraduate Society. I've met almost all of my friends that are like long-term, really close to me through undergraduate society. So I found getting involved to be a really rewarding experience. I'm also currently working at BC Children's Hospital in the Research Institute, and I got that opportunity through UBC. We have a program called Work Learn, which is basically UBC allows you to work and be a student. And so it's like regulated through them, so it makes sense. And BC Children's is a part of UBC. You don't have to concern yourself too much about that now, but it is. Yeah, so those are some of the highlights of my degree. And I'll be here around more, so you guys can ask me questions, and I'll pass it over to Christine.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Yes, I've been privileged to work with Alicia closely, which is part of the Undergraduate Society, and it's a really involved group of students who provide support and guidance for all undergrads studying across our 4 undergraduate degrees. So I've mentioned 2 of them already, the Bachelor of Science in Applied Biology, as well as the Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health. We do have 2 additional degree programs, the Bachelor of Science in Global Resource Systems, as well as Food and Resource Economics. We'll have a chance to talk about all 4 of them, because some of you might not understand exactly what your degree entails. So the Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health is a degree that is really going to prepare you for any kind of career or satisfy any of the interests that those of you might have in working in health. And health is a really general term, and it could be anything from being a doctor. We have a lot of students who go through our Bachelor of Science, Food, Nutrition, and Health and go into medical school. It's a really natural pathway, right? You're learning about health and population health and public health, and you're dealing with like how the body processes food. It's a really fantastic preparatory undergraduate degree for medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, nursing, any of those like tangible specialized programs that you might know about now as a high school student, as well as the dietetics program to become a registered dietitian. We are the only school in British Columbia that actually has the program where you can become a registered dietitian, which is a designation that you need to have in order to call yourself a dietitian. So it's a competitive program that we have here through our undergraduate program in Food, Nutrition, and Health. But students also go on to work and go to law school and pursue graduate studies. Alicia mentioned that she's doing nutritional sciences, which is a little bit heavier on the research side and looking at things through that perspective. So if you're interested in working in a lab and understanding nutrition from a molecular perspective, or how the body processes food, you're interested in cells and nutrition from that perspective, it really is a wide range. And then the food science program, which on an earlier slide noted was the number 4 ranked food science and technology program, really incredible opportunity for you to learn about the science of food. How do we preserve food? How do we increase shelf life? How do we ensure that we can keep food healthy and fresh from the gardens all the way through to the grocery stores? And how do we address some of the challenges that we're facing as a society? How do you make those fancy chocolates where something is melted in the middle, but it's a frozen food product? Like, how does that happen? What is the science of psychological science of food, and how do people consume it, and how do we as consumers make decisions about the food that we consume? So it really does vary, and you as a student have an opportunity to really customize your program. The most general of all of the majors is the Food, Nutrition, and Health general major, which really gives you a chance to customize your program. And then some of the other majors that are listed here are a little more specific and nuanced, as it helps prepare you for some of those careers that might lead you to some certifications or professional programs down the road. The Bachelor of Science in Applied Biology is an undergraduate degree that is biology, but the two areas of focus rather than human biology, which is a little more present in the Food, Nutrition, and Health program where you study human anatomy and biology and physiology, this is an opportunity for you to take that love of animals and translate it into an undergraduate degree. So really looking at animal physiology, behavior, welfare, and ethics, and we'll have Beth have an opportunity to share a little bit about her experience, as well as the sustainable agriculture and environment major, which is really for those students who are looking at areas of biodiversity, sustainability, food security, how we manage our agricultural lands, both the rural lands and urban lands, how do we share spaces. For those of you who live in British Columbia and those of you all over the world, we are facing climate crises all the time, wildfires and tornadoes and flooding, and what impact do these climate activities have on our food supply? We've got producers here in British Columbia who are now being able to grow citrus fruits, which should only grow in really, really hot climates down south, and we're having citrus up here. Like, things are changing with urban or with agriculture all the time. How do we support farmers to use technology to ensure that we have a healthy, sustainable food supply to sustain this growing population? So some really unique and special opportunities to really have an impact. And then, of course, looking at animals through companion animals, animals for food, how do we consume, what are choices that we're making as a society, and how do we translate that into learning? The Global Resource Systems and Food and Resource Economics programs are what we would consider second-year entry programs, meaning that you need to start somewhere in first year, and most students will start in one of the Food, Nutrition, and Health or Applied Biology programs. And then while you're in your first year, you can apply to transfer into one of these two second-year entry programs, or students come from other faculties as well and transfer into these programs in second year. These are programs that are really centering the Global Resource Systems program, looking more at international challenges by selecting a region of the world where you want to invest your time and energy, a resource that you want to explore, and then customizing a program to address that challenge in the region, which would include some travel, and customizing a program to understand the economic, political, and social issues in that community that you'd be traveling to, with that science foundation as well. And then looking at the Food and Resource Economics program, really unique way to tie economics and science together to look at how do we transport food in this global and local economy. When we had massive flooding in British Columbia a couple of years ago and highways were washed out, how do we transport food from the ocean to the interior? How do we get food from the interior where we grow a lot of our produce to those of us living on the coast? We weren't able to transport food in the ways that we were used to. And what does that look like? What does it look like to transport food around the world? And how do you get fresh food to people in really effective ways? What is the economy of a food system? Everyone's seen inflation is high and grocery store prices are high. And what does that mean for us as consumers and as a society? And how do we manage the economy of resources and food? And if that's an area that you're passionate about, this program might be a really good fit for you. Regardless of where it is that you start, your journey is going to look different because you're going to choose things that inspire you as you go through your program. You're going to take a class that's going to open your eyes to something you'd never considered before. You're going to meet a professor who's doing research in an area that you didn't know you could even study before. You're going to meet a friend who's taking a course with this really great prof that you're going to now take as an elective, and then that's going to turn into your undergraduate passion. You're going to go on exchange like Alicia did and have your eyes open to different challenges faced around the world, and you're really going to get inspired as an undergraduate student. And I really encourage you to take advantage of all of those inspirations and work collaboratively together with your advising team here in Student Services to build that plan out in a way that supports you to reach an academic goal of graduation. How you get there is going to differ, but the experience that you're going to have as you journey through is relatively consistent with what you see on the screen here. So in first year, you are going to take your foundational science courses, and your first year of your science program, I noticed in the Slido there was a question about first year science courses and is it different than what would be in a traditional Faculty of Science? And the answer is no. You're going to take your first year biology, first year chemistry, first year math. You have to get your foundation, your feet wet, and understand the theory and the concepts in these core foundational science courses, so that as you continue to build in your program, when you build on those theories and concepts, you have that strong foundation that you can anchor into. There are also going to be a couple of different first year LFS specific courses, like LFS 100, which is a required course for all students. And then if you're in the Food, Nutrition, and Health program, you have an F&H course, the Food, Nutrition, and Health course that's required of you in first year. That's your Human Anatomy and Physiology course, for example. So you're really going to build a strong foundation in first year in your core sciences that are going to help prepare you for your middle years. So looking at year 2, that's when you're going to take some additional science courses, so build on that foundation from first year. So you're going to take some second year biology courses, some second year chemistry courses, and you're going to start to build on those concepts and strengthen that academic science knowledge that you built up in first year. But this is where you get to start to customize that learning a little bit more than what you were able to do in first year by choosing your specialization or your major. So Alicia mentioned she's in the nutritional sciences major and she has a minor in commerce. So a major is your subject area of concentration, and everyone has to pick a major because you do want to work your degree program around a goal and a pathway forward. You can supplement that major with a secondary subject of concentration, as Alicia did, in something like commerce or kinesiology or science or arts. You may want to supplement it in a way that feels really authentic to you, and we can help you make those decisions. But it is second year where you need to pick your major and decide what pathway it is that you're going to work towards. Once you've picked your pathway and once you've started on your major journey, that's when you're going to see that your third and fourth year are going to be more heavily concentrated in courses related to that specific major. So you are going to be taking a few more program-specific courses. So you're going to see the number of courses you take with FNH, LFS, APBI, which is the acronym for Applied Biology, and other disciplines within LFS, FRE, Food Resource Economics, GRS, Global Resource Systems. You're going to see that your course selection will become more heavily prominent in courses that are specific to our faculty and specific to your major. And this is also when you're going to start to be able to take advantage of some of the opportunities like going on exchange, as Alicia did, or doing co-op, which is full-time paid work employment integrated into your undergraduate program, getting out there to do things like field studies and directed studies where you as a student get to direct your own research. So you really have an opportunity in third and fourth year to build some of those unique experiences in, because you have now picked your major and are starting to really hone in on how you want to build your program to support the major that you have selected. So this is kind of how you're going to move through the program. And as I said, everyone moves through it at a different pace. Everyone chooses to kind of, that choose your own adventure books, maybe from when you were a kid. You can pick the ending that you want for yourself, and it might be the same as the person sitting next to you, or it might look really different, and every decision and journey is valid. And that's the great thing about being able to come to a place like UBC and come to a supportive environment like the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, because that's our job, is to help you navigate making these decisions and help you carve out a pathway forward that feels really authentic and important to you. So I mentioned the LFS Student Services team in my introduction, and this is a bit of an overview of the different ways in which we support our students. So academic, health and well-being, engagement, and career. We're very fortunate to have a dedicated counselor that supports students in our faculty, a dedicated career strategist who supports students in LFS, and dedicated academic advisors, dedicated student engagement advisors. So people who are really here to provide that dedicated support and programming to you throughout your undergraduate degree. But under these photographs, you'll see there are some additional bullets for some different offices that are available to all students at UBC. So if you're looking for opportunities to learn a little bit more of your wellness, you can visit the Wellness Center. If you're looking for additional career supports, we have a dedicated career center on campus. We also have dedicated supports for students looking to understand a little bit more about equity and inclusion opportunities. But our office is really your first stop for any questions that you might have. And if we can't help you, we can easily put you in touch with a resource that can, and connect you with somebody on campus who can either answer your question or support you in making good decisions about how to move forward with your program. There are a couple programs that are unique to students in first year in LFS, which I'm really proud to share with you. The Land 1 program is a coordinated suite of courses for students in first year. We share the Land 1 program with our amazing colleagues in the Faculty of Forestry. And so there are about 60 students total who go into the Land 1 program. It is a competitive program that requires a separate application. So if you are interested in learning more about Land 1, you can just take a photo of this screen right here, or just remember Land 1 and you can Google it. Land 1 UBC, and the first link that comes up will be the Land 1 website. It does have a separate application that's due by May 15th, and if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this cohort experience in first year, where you take a suite of classes together in an integrated way, where you're learning about food security, climate change, land use, and sustainability from both Western and Indigenous perspectives in a smaller learning environment, I strongly encourage you to attend an info session that we have coming up later this week around Land 1. It'll be facilitated by Fernanda Tomasali, who is the program coordinator, and she's fantastic, and she will be able to give you a lot more information about the Land 1 program. So if that's something you're interested in, I strongly encourage you to attend that event. The LFS Roots program is something we're really proud of. Roots is an acronym. It is not a spelling error. There are definitely 2 S's at the end of Roots. It's an acronym that stands for Reach Out, Orientation, Transition, and Study Skills. And it is really unique because it is only available to students in LFS. It is an in-house program that we in Student Services designed and prepare for all incoming students to the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. So it is designed by all of the staff in Student Services to support all students in their transition into, as well as their first full year in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. It is an online program that you access through Canvas, which is the online learning management system that's available to all students, where you're going to learn a lot of your courses and have your course material posted. So it's a great learning space for you to safely explore and get comfortable with the Canvas platform. And we post a lot of really helpful information in a timely way so that you can access information to know what's coming up, what's important, how to make effective decisions, where to access resources and support. And we engage you in dynamic ways through discussion boards and webinars and workshops, and we are there to support you throughout your entire first year. And then as you transition out of your first year, you will also be transitioning into Roots 2.0 to carry you through the rest of your undergraduate program. So it really is a dedicated home space for LFS Student Services in supporting all of you during your journey as undergrads. Another great way to get involved is through the mentorship program. This is a program we're really proud of as well. It's the second largest mentorship program on campus for a faculty of our size. That's a pretty important statement to be making. And almost over 90% of the mentors who come back into the mentorship program are alumni of LFS. So they are out there in industry, they are working in professional spaces, and they dedicate and give back so much of their time to engage with current undergraduate students to create a mentorship cluster where you have undergraduate students and an industry professional that come together for really dedicated and intentional learning and connections to help you to make some connections with alumni, as well as to understand some of the career paths that they have taken outside of their LFS or after their LFS degree. We have mentors who are in their retirement years and have just continued to stay engaged with the program for the 25 years that it's been in existence, as well as young alumni who are new graduates and sharing back their experiences of their early career journey. And it's a really beautiful community that if you're interested in getting to be a part of, you'll be invited through the Roots platform, so you'll get a chance to hear all about it then. But I really encourage you to engage with mentorship if you are interested in kind of building those connections, practicing your networking skills, and getting a chance to meet new people as well. But there are many different ways to get involved, not just the ones that I've highlighted for you here. So I'm going to turn it over to Beth, who's going to share a little bit about her favorite LFS experiences and how she's made the most of her time at LFS so far. So Beth, over to you.
Hi guys, my name is Beth. I'm a 4th year student in applied animal biology, specifically in the honors program. As for my favorite experience, there are so many to choose from. You'll probably hear from a lot of your courses saying how tightly close-knit the LFS community is, and you will understand that after your first year when you experience everything that I have. So Starting off with my experiences at the bottom right, this is when I volunteered for Agora Cafe, which is a vegetarian, fully student-run cafe right here in our LFS building. It provides nutritious food at very low cost. I think max like $6 for a meal. And this is because it's student-run, and we're all about just combating food insecurity on campus. So on the top right photo, this was me volunteering at an LFS undergraduate society event. So this event was called Brushing Up with Majors, and I represented my major of applied animal biology. And we basically just painted, and I talked to first and second year students about the experiences that I've had within my major, some courses I've taken, and just general advice. So that was a great experience. In the middle here, we have me with an elephant that is Makiju. This was from the course LFS 302D, which is an exchange kind of in Thailand, where I spent a month observing behavior of Asian elephants, and we lived in the homestays of the villagers themselves. We learned traditional craftsmanship such as basket weaving and fabric making. And honestly, that was my favorite experience in LFS so far, because where else am I going to be able to stay in a rural village and every day go to hike and see like so many elephants every day? It was by far the most amazing experience. And if you have the chance, I would totally recommend it. And lastly, at the top left, this was my role in the LFS Undergraduate Society. I was the Associate Vice President in the faculty in portfolio of engagement. So basically, this just meant that I oversaw the sustainability subcommittee, where we ran sustainability themed events such as cricket cookies, introducing alternative protein sources, as well as seed bombs, where we collaborated with the local garden and we made little balls of seeds to throw around on campus, and it was lovely. As well, we ran the Wednesday night dinner, which is a bi-weekly 3-course fully vegan meal for only $5. And this is actually where I met Ayasha, who is one of the shift leaders. And she was crucial for the functioning of these Wednesday night dinners, providing very cheap meals for food insecure students throughout the campus. So I will now pass it on to my favorite shift leader, Ayasha.
Thank you, Beth. So like Beth discussed, there are a ton of areas in which you can get involved in the LFS community. So like Beth mentioned earlier, we have Wednesday night dinners. So this is a student-led dinner series that provides a 3-course plant-based meal to students at a low cost. And so this helps tackle food insecurity for students. And it's also a fun way to get involved on campus, whether you want to volunteer making food, if you have a passion for making food, or if you just want to have dinner with fellow LFS students, that'd be a great way to get involved. We also have the LFS Undergrad Society that both Alicia and Beth mentioned earlier. So this is a student council where members of the LFS US host building events to support and connect with students. And through joining LFS US, which I was also a part of, I met a lot of my LFS friends through LFS US. I created longtime friends through LFS US, and I'm just grateful to be part of that society. In addition, we also have the LFS ACE team, which stands for Academic Career Engagement, that Beth is in. You want to show your shirt, Beth? Yeah, okay. And this is a group of students who run career and networking events for LFS students. Like Beth also mentioned earlier, we have the Agora Cafe. It's in the basement of the LFS building. You'll definitely pass by this cafe. So if you ever want to grab a quick bite, also a nutritious bite, that'd be the place to go. And there's over 300 clubs on campus that you can get involved with. Some highlights that are related to LFS are NutriKids, which is a club that creates food nutrition workshops for elementary school age kids. So if you have a passion for teaching, if you love engaging with little kids, NutriKids would be a great involvement to get into. Another option we have is the UBC PAW Club, which stands for Pre-Veterinary and Animal Welfare Club. They host info sessions on navigating the pre-veterinary track, fundraising for animal-related organizations, and more. And another opportunity for you incoming students that you might be looking forward to is LFS Firsts. So this is a series of welcome events where students can participate in university firsts. So with other LFS students, so you get to experience everything for the first time together. And there's also socials that LFS Firsts run to celebrate the end of the year, the beginning of the year, and also collab with other organizations such as Wednesday night dinners. And I'll pass it back to Christine.
Well, thank you to Beth, Ayasha, and Alicia for sharing a little bit about their stories. I hope by bringing the students to these presentations, you as newly admitted students have a chance to hear about what choices they've made, the experiences that they've cultivated, and how they're making the most of their time in LFS. And what we're able to do now is spend a little bit of time now going through the questions that you might have for us. So I do have the Slido open here, and Ayasha and I are going to go through it together, and then you'll have a chance to get your questions answered by myself as well as by Beth, Ayasha, and Alicia. And then I'll just give you a sneak peek at our next slides. We'll make sure before we log off today to provide you with next steps in terms of our upcoming events for the rest of the week, as well as just an overview of your timelines for what comes after this. So we'll go through all of that together in just a minute, but we are going to hold some space now for the Q&A. So we're going to start with the Slido questions. So thank you to those of you who have put questions into the Slido presentation already. If you need to go into the chat, you can link into the Slido link that Ayasha put up there earlier. You can upvote questions so that they get up to the top. And as we go through, Ayasha will be reading them out and then resolving them. And I will pass it on to Beth, Ayasha, or Alicia to answer as we go forward here. So happy to dive in. So let's get going.
All right. So our first question that has 9 upvotes, what are the first year courses you have to take, and how is it different from the general Bachelor's of Sciences at UBC?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really great question. I think I tried to address that a little bit earlier in the presentation. So your first year is going to look very similar to any student studying in a Bachelor of Science degree. So it's taking those first year courses in first year math, first year physics, depending on your major, first year chemistry, first year biology, first year writing course. So your first year curriculum looks very, very similar and kind of indistinguishable from other first year science degrees. The courses that are 100% unique to LFS is the LFS 100 course that I mentioned before. So that is a required course of all students in first year, where it's really an introduction to the concept of a food system, so that you start to understand and start to explore that concept together and have a chance to really understand the impact of all of the different disciplines that you're about to be studying in together, and have a chance to really get exposed to and understand that concept. So it really sets you up for long-term success in the faculty. And then, as I mentioned, the food, nutrition, and health students have their own dedicated first year physiology and anatomy course, so your human physiology and anatomy course, which you would take instead of a different biology course that first year science students take. So it's typically very similar though.
Alrighty, our next question is, if I've already accepted an offer of admission, but I'm not sure about the decision, is it possible to change majors, and how would I go about it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So if you've already accepted your offer of admission, fantastic. For those of you who've accepted because you're sure, double thumbs up for you. For those of you who have accepted but are maybe changing your mind, this question is a bit difficult to answer because it really is dependent on the circumstances. The application to UBC has closed. It is past that opportunity where you're able to make changes to your program choices. Admission offers are going out and you are kind of locked into the programs that you have applied to and been evaluated with. If you have a specific question about switching into programs or switching your choices within the LFS faculty, so for example, let's say you said, oh, I got admitted to the Bachelor of Science in Applied Biology, but I'm actually more passionate about human nutrition, and I'd rather be in the food, nutrition, and health program in first year, that may be a switch that we could accommodate, and that's something that we'd ask you to contact our office about directly so we can work with you one-on-one. If instead you're asking about accepting an offer to the Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health or Applied Biology within LFS, but you have a preference to attend a different program like a Bachelor of Arts, that isn't something that our office is able to provide you an answer with, and I can put the email for the admissions office into the chat feature, and you're welcome to contact them directly to inquire. However, I would recommend that you be prepared that changes for program choices outside of the faculty to which you've already been admitted are unlikely to be approved this late in the cycle. So admissions.inquiry@ubc.ca is the email I put in the chat for any questions that you might have about making changes outside of LFS. If you're looking at just making changes within the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, you can contact our Student Services team as an initial point of contact, and then we'd be happy to navigate that through for you. Nathan, I see that your hand is raised. Is this a question specific to this? And would it be so specific that it's maybe something we should talk about after the presentation?
So what's the deal with, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to explain my situation. So I have accepted an offer of admission to the LFS faculty. However, I also have an application to the Bachelor to the Faculty of Science that is still being reviewed and has not been given an answer yet. Okay. What would happen if I was to receive an offer of admission from the Faculty of Science? How would I go about switching in that situation?
Good question. So the admissions team would advise you on what steps to take. If you receive more than one offer of admission from the University of British Columbia, you have the opportunity to accept only one of those offers. So if you've already accepted an offer to an LFS program, but later on in the cycle you receive a formal offer of admission to another program, you can instead accept that offer and decline your LFS offer. The admissions office can walk you through those next steps. All admissions decisions are handled centrally by UBC admissions, not by individual faculties. So that isn't something that we would work on with you, but the admissions office would, and that admissions.inquiry email in the chat would be a good place of contact if you had any other questions about that. So I hope that helps. Ayasha, back to you.
Oh, I have something to add.
Oh, sure, Alicia, go ahead.
That I feel like people are thinking about. I've had a few friends that transferred from LFS into the Faculty of Science in their second year. So after your first year, you can put an application if you'd like to switch over into another faculty. And then that is solely based on your GPA in your first year. And because our first year courses are so general with science, so all this first year courses I took basically look like the exact same as my friends in life sciences in the Faculty of Science took. There's practically going to be no like bump in your undergraduate journey because you would have completed the general science prerequisites. And so if you were to transfer into biology after LFS, you would have all your prerequisites covered.
I see your hand again, Nathan. I feel like I'd love to move forward with some general questions to go through the Slido. And if you have more specific questions to your situation, sorry, then I would like to move forward with like your specific situation. I'd be happy to come back to that later. Is that okay if we just hold off on your specific question for now, or pop it into the Slido and we can address it for sure? That's really good advice, Alicia, and that is very true for all students studying in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems or any other program at UBC. We have a number of students who find LFS after their first year in science or arts or forestry and transfer into the Faculty of Land and Food Systems in second year as well. Transfer between faculties is not guaranteed. However, no matter which direction it is that you go, it is competitive. So if you are starting in any program at UBC and then realize, we have students who come to LFS and realize they really should be poets and want to write poetry and read literature and study the classics, and then maybe this isn't the right place for them, and that's okay. But you do have to apply and competitively be admitted into new programs once you're already at UBC, and sometimes those competitive thresholds can be quite high. That's where working with academic advisors in individual faculties will be a really important point of contact for any student looking to explore their academic journey. Our goal is not to keep you in a program you're not happy in. Our goal is to support you to find a pathway forward to an end academic goal that is your dream, and we will work with you to identify some different pathway forwards for you. So Alicia's advice was fantastic. That's the same advice we would provide to any Faculty of Science student looking to transfer into LFS. And the nice thing is that your first year is so similar. Transitioning between both of those faculties from an academic course perspective is relatively smooth. Whether or not you have the GPA or the academic cutoff to make that transition possible is up to you as the student to do as well as you possibly can. So I hope that that helps. All right, back to you, Ayasha.
All right. You mentioned this earlier in the presentation, but just to clarify, after graduating, do we earn a Bachelor's of Science, since it is a Bachelor's of Science is what they
That's a really
asked?
great question. So the actual degree credential name is Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health, Bachelor of Science in Applied Biology. So it is its own degree credential, but it is effectively a Bachelor of Science degree. So I hope that that's helpful. For students who go into the Faculty of Science, which is its own faculty here at UBC, they have a Bachelor of Science degree with a number of different majors like astronomy and chemistry and psychology, and so that's a space to pursue different programs that may or may not be the right fit for you. So the degree credential is slightly different, but it is a Bachelor of Science degree, but it is a more specific Bachelor of Science degree. So that's why the name is so inclined.
All right, a question that I could pass on to either Beth or Alicia. How big are classes usually, since they are in their upper years?
I can take this one. So I think it really depends. When you're in your first year, classes are more general, so they tend to be quite large, like up to 200 plus. But when you get to your more upper years, when the courses are more specialized, they do happen to have smaller courses or smaller course sizes. For instance, I took a course with 4 people in it. So yeah, when you get to your higher years, it definitely gets a lot smaller. General courses, a lot much larger.
All right. Thank you, Beth. Another question we have here is a Bachelor's of Science in Applied Biology the best course for writing the MCAT later?
Excellent question. So the MCAT, the Medical College Admissions Test, I mentioned earlier that the Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health seems to be the program that students tracking towards medicine are more inclined to be a part of because of the human health aspect. However, I can't speak for every medical school around the world, but if you look at medical school admission requirements for UBC, for example, there are no specific course requirements. But the MCAT is something that is based on your foundational science courses. So yes, students who study in any degree program in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems will have the scientific and knowledge and information required for them to be successful on the MCAT. And then if you are tracking towards dentistry, same thing with their entrance requirements and other graduate programs and other professional programs, you have a foundation in the sciences because you are in a science disciplined program that you have a chance to prepare for those. And then you get to customize and build the non-academic experiences through your other involvement to boost up your non-academic resume of experience for those professional programs as well. So great question.
I can add on to that for
Yeah, Alicia.
I was on the pre-med track, not anymore, but I feel like I do have some insight into it.
Yeah.
Since I'm in the food nutrition and health program, I have found that it's a little bit easier to get the right prerequisites to apply into medical school. So maybe if you're someone that doesn't love a lot of planning, it might be a little bit more easy to be an autopilot if you're on in FNH to write the MCAT later. But I think with a little bit of research, you can definitely tailor your AppBi major. You might have to supplement it with some extra courses, but that's okay. You have a few courses in your degree that you could just take whatever subject you like and it counts towards your degree. And personally, I have friends. I have one friend right now studying in Australia to become a dentist. He finished the AppBi program. I have another friend writing the MCAT. He's currently in the GRS program. So I think, as Christine said, in your first year, you get all the basics, and then you have to kind of think about what courses you have to take later on to kind of suit into the medical school you want to go into. But that's more of a personalized decision.
Great feedback, Alicia. Thank you so much for sharing.
All right, next question. When do we select our courses and build our timetables?
Oh, that's a really good question. So registration for first year students will happen in June. So you are going to, and I'll pull up this slide actually, because I feel like maybe it will give you a little bit of an overview as I answer that question. So what is going to happen over the next little while is we encourage you to attend the rest of the LFS Welcomes You events that are happening this week. I can pull the schedule up for you in just a moment. And then you have until May the 1st to accept your offer of admission if you decide that that's what you want to do. So you can accept your offer of admission online through your admissions portal, and you have until the deadline that's posted there. And for most students, that is the May 1st deadline, especially for those of you who already have offers of admission. In mid to late May, we are going to onboard you into the Roots program. So you'll get an email from the LFS Student Services team and welcoming you into the faculty and onboarding you into the Roots Canvas course. And that's where you're going to get a chance to navigate and understand kind of what your next steps are. And really, we're going to hold your hand virtually through all of those next steps. And registration is in June, so we're going to release a lot of content in the Roots Canvas course through modules. We release content every single week over the course of the summer because there's that much new and exciting information coming at you and preparing you for these next steps. So in terms of when you get to plan your courses, you will do all of that kind of in that mid-May to mid-June range so that you have everything prepped and ready to go for June. One of the great things that we also do through the Roots program as a student services team is we run registration webinars and workshops to help prepare you and answer your questions and make sure that you're set up for success so you're picking the right courses and setting up your timetables for the year ahead. So I hope that helps answer that question. Next one, Ayasha?
Yeah. Is applied biology, food, nutrition, health, and forestry the same faculty, and what makes each different?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Hands up or thumbs up if you've read Harry Potter or seen a Harry Potter movie. I know it sounds like a weird question to ask, but I think it'll help make sense. Okay, some of you are saying yes. Okay, so you know the different houses in Harry Potter? There's Hufflepuff and Gryffindor. That's kind of what a faculty is like at UBC. It's like the house that you belong to. And then within those houses, we have different degrees that are offered by the different faculties. So Faculty of Science is its own faculty. The Faculty of Applied Science, which is generally where engineering fits, and nursing, they're all held together. The Faculty of Education, the Faculty of Sauder School of Business, which is our business faculty. Those are all different faculties. We are the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. We have the 4 bachelor degrees that I described earlier. The Faculty of Forestry is its own faculty and it has its own bachelor's degree in forestry. And so they are different, but the one thing that I will say is forestry and LFS are besties. We are very good friends here. We're physically located across the way from each other here on campus. And because we have so many disciplines that work very closely together, in parallel together, in collaboration together. I mentioned the Land 1 program earlier, which is a collaborative program with our colleagues in forestry, where forestry and LFS students study together in a shared program. We have faculty members who teach in both the forestry and LFS faculties. And so there are a lot of natural alliances there, but they are distinct faculties. But I would say out of all the faculties on campus, LFS and forestry are the most similar. And we get along very well and we play nicely in the sandbox together. So I hope that helps. But if you're looking for forestry specific degrees, you can Google Forestry UBC and explore their website. But it would be a different degree program altogether and a different faculty. Yeah, hope that helps.
I can also add something to that.
Great, thanks.
Being in the applied animal biology major, I've taken many forestry courses because there is significant overlap. Like right now I'm taking an aquatic ecosystems course. I took a wildlife management and conservation course, lots of sustainability related ones. And in addition, I'm doing my undergraduate thesis in the Faculty of Forestry with my supervisor being in the Wildlife Coexistence Lab. So there's definitely a lot of overlap and you can tailor your degree to do more forestry related since the degrees are very flexible in a sense. So I just wanted to add that on.
Thank you, Beth. That's really good insight. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. We're little besties down at this end of campus, I would say. Yeah, those are really great questions. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm. All right, which residence is the closest to food science? I'm assuming they're talking about like LFS buildings, probably?
Maybe. So LFS has a couple of buildings on campus which are quite close to each other, neither of which are like right next door to any residence on campus, to be fair. UBC has a number of different residences for first-year students, which are kind of on the outskirts of campus. I would say that the closest ones, if you're Googling it on a map, would be Orchard Commons, Totem Park. Those are kind of the 2 first-year residences that are closest to LFS-affiliated buildings. But in your first year as a first year student, you will probably have very few of your classes in LFS buildings because you're going to be taking your first year math, first year biology, first year chemistry classes in science buildings, which are kind of closer to Place Vanier residents, or maybe Gage residents. I understand some first year students are living in Gage right now as well, which is really central. So it really varies. I know that kind of sounds like a non-answer, but there are a lot of different residences on campus that are integrated into different parts of the campus community. So your residence will not be selected for you based on its affiliation with or closeness to your home faculty, since you will be taking classes in buildings all over campus, especially in your first year. So that helps.
That question actually goes along with the next question. How do people around campus how do people on campus get around? Because campus is huge, and do they bike often?
I was just laughing because in this photo, there's a dude on a scooter here. There's a dude on a bicycle here. So I'm going to throw it to the students to share a little bit about how they get around campus. So maybe Alicia, do you want to share a little bit about your experience on campus?
You run. It's funny, but genuinely you do run. I think first year courses are more centralized. I feel like the people who ever book the rooms for the classes are a little bit nicer. So you probably never have to make that long of a walk. The longest walk I've had someone make is 20 minutes from each end of the campus between classes. But some of the ways you can decrease the chance of that happening is to Google your course and see what building is going to be held in. And if you have like classes back to back, your classes actually ends 10 minutes early. So the professors gives you time to get to the next class. But if you really are worried about that, you can just, when you're making your schedule, you can have not back-to-back classes. But since every single professor gives you 10 minutes to get to the next class, I found that in first year, it wasn't really a problem.
Beth or Ayasha, do you have anything to add about how you navigate campus and get around?
Yeah, I just walk really fast. Unless you're taking a course, for example, in arts, which is like on the other side of campus, it might take way longer to get there. But other than that, fast walking is the way to go for me.
How about you, Beth?
Yeah, I concur. Just walk fast.
Yes, walking fast. And you will see students on scooters, on their bicycles, the skateboards, all zipping up and down the pathway. In this photograph is called Main Mall, which is the main pedestrian thoroughfare that connects the north end of campus to the south end of campus. And you will see just a whole variety of transportation options for students getting around campus. But I'd say fast walking is probably the most efficient way of getting around. Nathan, did you have a question about navigating campus related to
Yeah. So I guess I'm not sure who exactly I should be asking this to, if I should be talking to my disability advisor, but I guess the long story short is I'm mobility impaired, so I don't walk as fast as other people, and I have balance loss, so I can't use some alternative modes of transportation. So like
Got it.
are there like any alternative options if you're disabled, basically?
Yeah, Nathan, that's a really great question, and I'm so glad that you asked. Yes, there are. The Equity and Inclusion Office actually has what they call the Disability Shuttle. And so there is a shuttle that you can book that will transport students with mobility challenges from class to class and help you navigate campus. What I'll do is when we're going through the next question, Nathan, I'll pop the information about that into the chat. And if students are looking for supports or any type of accommodations for challenges that they're facing from a physical perspective or challenges that they're facing through a medical perspective, where you need any supports or accommodation, there's a wonderful office on campus called the Center for Accessibility the CFA office, where students can register. And if you are a student who's had accommodations as a high school student and you're not sure whether or not you're eligible for accommodations as a university student, I strongly encourage you to reach out to the Center for Accessibility to inquire about getting registered before you start your classes at UBC. They will meet with and register prospective or newly admitted students, sorry, not prospective. They will meet with and register newly admitted students so that you can get all of your accommodations lined up for you in advance of you starting your studies. Really supportive group of accessibility advisors there, and if there are mobility challenges, they will work with you to ensure that you have a way to navigate and get around campus, or that you're getting access or priority access to courses where your buildings might be closer together to reduce some of that cross-campus walking or needing to get around campus in ways that might be more challenging. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps. Thank you very much. I guess I'll have to email my accessibility advisor and ask to arrange another meeting.
If you already have an accessibility advisor, Nathan, yes, that would be fantastic. And then just follow up with whomever has been your assigned accessibility advisor. If you're not sure, or if you are unsure how to connect in with them, you can always contact our office for advice and support, and we can get you in touch with somebody right away. Those are really great questions. Thank you for asking. Yeah. So I'll get the information for the Center for Accessibility and the Disability Shuttle into the chat while Ayasha asks the next question.
I'm just going to reframe the next question. I'm assuming they're referring to the academic calendar. Are all the first year courses on the academic calendar? Do they have to take it within their first year at LFS? And are they near each other? I'm assuming they're talking about the buildings that they have to take the courses in.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So just give me 1 second. It's hard to Google and talk at the same time. So Nathan, I put in for you and for other students who might be interested in learning more about the Center for Accessibility, I put that information into the chat feature for you. So you should see the link for the Center for Accessibility there. The next link that I just posted is the specific information about the accessibility shuttle. Sorry, they've changed the name. Apologies. The accessibility shuttle, so that you could learn a little bit more about it from there as well. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, which I think will make life easier for all of us, is I'm just going to reshare my screen here and show you the academic calendar, because I think that that's a really important resource for you as students to know about. So the UBC academic calendar is here, and I'm going to post the link into the chat for you. The academic calendar at UBC is the rule book for all things UBC. Can everyone see the calendar page, by the way, with my screen share right now? It's not the presentation anymore? Okay, cool. So the UBC academic calendar is kind of like the rule book for UBC. It's where all of the policies and procedures and everything you need to know if that's a rule or a policy is listed in this UBC academic calendar. It's a great resource for you as new students to get familiar with and understand how to navigate. There is a ton of information in here, a lot of it which won't be relevant to you or might be relevant to you at very specific times in your life, particularly if you're facing a challenge or needing supports. This is a great place to come. But what the question is asking is about picking courses and understanding what you're actually taking in each of your years, and specifically in your first year. So on the left-hand side of the screen here, under calendar sections, there's a list of all the faculties, colleges, and schools that we have at UBC. So these are like chapters in a book. You scroll down and select the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, surprise, surprise. And then what you can do is look up one of the degree programs. So I'm going to pick on Alicia today, and we're going to look at Alicia's Bachelor of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health. That's the degree program that she's in, and her major is Nutritional Sciences. When you click into those individual majors, so every time you click, you're getting a little bit more specific in what it is that you're searching for, and I hope this answers the question that came through Slido. So this will tell you exactly what you need to take in your first year. So you're going to take LFS 100, you're going to take LFS 150 or Words 150, which is your first year university writing class. You're going to take some biologies. You're going to take that FNH 160, 161, which is your physiology and anatomy course I mentioned earlier. You're going to take your first year chemistry, your first year math. You do need to take physics if you're going into nutritional sciences, so you'll want to take that course. And so this will help you to kind of get an idea of what courses it is that you would be taking in each of your 4 years. One of the things that I think is going to be really helpful for a lot of you as well is, and I'll bring it up for you as well so you can see it and know that I'm not lying to you. So in your Canvas course, which is the place where I said the Roots program lives, in your Canvas course, you are also going to have an opportunity to use what are called visual guides that we have prepared for you that help you to map and plan your courses regardless of what program it is, and really help you to kind of maximize your course selection and understand what courses you take now, have prerequisites for upper year courses, and how to properly plan your classes. So I can show one of those to you now, but they are not on a public website. You'll get them in Roots when you all get access to Roots, and it will help you to navigate your courses and hopefully make those good decisions. And every piece of information that we put out in Roots for you will give you all the tools and resources that you need to make effective decisions and prepare yourself for first year and beyond. So I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to stress. And the one nice thing is this is unique to LFS students. Other faculties don't have a Roots course. They don't have this centralized place where all this information lives. We work really hard to prepare this information for you and make sure that you have all the information that you need so you can make really good and effective decisions for your first year courses. So I can show those for you a little bit later, but let's hop into some more of the questions from Slido. I hope that answered your questions about the calendar and gave you kind of a way to navigate. When in doubt, by the way, you can also just Google Food, Nutrition, and Health UBC, click, and likely one of the first or second searches that come up in that Google search will be the link to answer those questions for you. I don't know why students don't think they can Google these types of things, but you can. So I just encourage you to use your Google skills to look up some of these things as well, because it'll just be a really helpful process for you to get in the habit of doing moving forward.
Right. So this question you've already answered before, but there's still a lot of upvotes and similar questions to it. Are you able to switch internally if you want to switch your Bachelor's of Science in LFS, and how do you do that?
So I do think we have answered this question, and Alicia provided the best kind of timeline information in her overview. So once you start at UBC in a program and you're here in September, you can't make a switch midway through the year. That's just not possible. You do need to close out the full year in the program in which you have begun your studies. If you realize once you're in that program that there's another program that's a better fit for you, you do need to formally apply, and the application deadlines range from mid-January to mid-May, depending on the program to which you are hoping to transfer into. And that's where meeting with an academic advisor will be really helpful, because we can walk you through that and give you the information that you need specific to the program that you're trying to get into. And applications for transfer within UBC are not evaluated until June, after all your grades are finalized from the full cycle, and then you would hopefully find out before the next registration period whether or not you are successful in getting into the new faculty. So I hope that helps.
All right. Does co-op only provide experience, or does it also provide the opportunity to earn credits?
That's a really great question. So you do, co-op is full-time work integrated into your undergraduate experience. And so you do interrupt your studies to leave school to go and work full-time. You do get credit for your co-op experience, and you are graded on your co-op experience, but it is a little bit different than your traditional in classroom classes. And co-op experiences, you do 18 months total, and where and how you split up those 18 months is something you work together with our co-op advisor, Sanya, on developing that plan if and when you've been admitted to the co-op program.
All right. How many students get admitted every year to LFS, and how many students get admitted to sciences?
I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head, I'm sorry, but you could certainly Google a UBC fact sheet to see how many students are in the different faculties. We welcome about 500 new students into the Faculty of Land and Food Systems every fall, and that's a combination of students coming in directly from high school, as well as those who transfer from other colleges or universities or other programs within UBC. I don't know what the Faculty of Science number is, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry.
All right. Do you have to pay for exchange programs?
Alicia, do you want to talk a little bit about exchange since you've gone through that experience yourself?
Yeah, so I know Beth also went on exchange, so I feel like we have pretty good depth. So I'll first talk about my experience. So I went for 2 months to Denmark in Europe, and I did my exchange through another university there that I applied to through UBC. So we have like basically a list of approved universities we can apply to exchange for, and UBC helps us facilitate that. And yes, you do have to pay, but it also kind of depends on what exchange you do. So there's two options. One, either you pay normal UBC credits for a course, and this is the most common one. So your tuition, just the tuition for one term of UBC will look the same as one term in your exchange program. But some programs you have to pay their tuition, which is what I did, and it was a little bit higher than usual UBC course credits. But most of the time when you go on exchange, you pay UBC credits. And actually, when you apply to exchange, you get a guaranteed like $1,000 scholarship from UBC to help you kind of take care of a little bit of those finances. But anything like cost of accommodation, food, living, you do have to finance that yourself. But there are different like scholarships and grants you can apply to within UBC and within your chosen exchange institution. And I'll pass it on to Beth for the course that you did in Thailand.
Yes, so I had a pretty similar experience to Alicia. The course I took, LFS 302D, was worth 6 credits, so I had to pay UBC tuition for 6 credits. As well, I had to pay the company, the Mahoots Elephant Foundation is the one who set everything up with the behavioral monitoring as well as like transportation to and from the village. So that was an additional cost as well as the flights. But other than that, food was all paid for once I did that initial payment. So we were all good for there. Just the flights, the actual tuition, and then paying the Mahoots Elephant Foundation.
Similar to Beth, I'm actually doing a global seminar in a few weeks actually. So for me, I had to do there's a Go Global fee that covers like the drivers, the hotel, the program itself, and then I also had to pay for the tuition costs as well from UBC, and also flights as well. Yes. All right, so next question. If we are waiting for our first option, will we get our decision before May 1st so we can accept our offer, or does the decision come later on?
As I mentioned before, UBC handles all admissions decisions centrally through the UBC admissions office. So unfortunately, I'm not in a position to confirm when offers will go out and whether or not you will hear back on that first choice offer by May 1. I'm truly sorry. If you want to follow up on your admissions offer, the admissions.inquiry email I posted in the chat is your best place to go with those types of questions.
Someone asked, they want to be a dietitian. If you enter the Bachelor's of Science in Food, Nutrition, and Health, will you be a registered dietitian after?
That's a really great question. So I mentioned earlier that to become a registered dietitian, we are the only school in British Columbia that offers students the opportunity to pursue that. You can do it in 2 different ways. Dietetics is a major, so Alicia's in nutritional sciences, Beth is in applied animal biology honors. Those are their majors. Dietetics is a major, which you can apply to in second year as a food, nutrition, and health student. And then you would be in that major starting in your 3rd year. And then you would be in your undergraduate program for 5, so that you can integrate your practice education components, which is going out into the community, working in clinic, and getting your hands-on experience as a dietitian, which is a required component of the program. It is a very competitive program. We admit just over 30 students a year into the dietetics major, so it's not always an option for every single student who's interested. However, we also have a master's program in nutrition, nutrition and dietetics that you can apply to after you've completed your undergraduate program as well, where you can also go through and complete the requirements for becoming a registered dietitian. So it's not automatic. It is not something that's available to all students, but it is a very highly sought after program for sure, and there are a number of resources as well as information events and nights and things like that where you can learn about it as in your first and second year to determine if whether or not the role of a registered dietitian is what you want to do as a career and what the different options are for applying to that program. Palak, is your question related to becoming a dietitian?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just a quick
That's
question.
great.
I just want to know how long will the master's be then?
The master's program, I believe, is 3 years.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can, again, if you just Google Master's Dietitian UBC, it should be the first link that comes up. The acronym for the program is MND, Masters of Nutrition and Dietetics. You can also find it in the calendar if you're exploring the calendar that way to see some of the different programs that are available.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Good question.
All right, someone asked, what is the difference between restricted and unrestricted electives?
Great question. So for all programs, you have to take a combination of degree required courses like LFS 100, LFS 250, or other types of courses. And then there are also then 2 types or 3 types of electives depending on the program that you're in. Restricted electives are a curated list of courses that are related to your subject area of study that had been identified by the degree program that you're studying in. So your restricted elective list for Beth is going to be different than those for Alicia, which is going to be different than those for Ayasha because it's based on the major that you're in. And you would choose from that list of curated restricted electives that are usually courses you'd be interested in taking anyway, and just the courses that you get to then kind of make your selections from that list. An unrestricted elective is where you have freedom as a student to choose any course that you're interested in that supplements your interest in other areas. So it could be a language, or it could be a history class, or political science, or whatever you might be interested in. So those are where you have a little bit more freedom. So restricted electives are just that. They're electives you get to choose. You have the autonomy as a student to select, but from a curated list. An unrestricted elective is just that. There's no restrictions to it. It can be anything.
If you complete the IB diploma program, do you still have to do first year sciences and math courses?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So for those of you who are in either advanced placement classes or international baccalaureate courses, you do have the opportunity, depending on your scores in those courses, to be eligible for first year credit at UBC. Unlike some institutions, UBC does not force you to choose or to take the credit. It gives you the freedom to decide whether or not you want to. So I put a link into the chat which talks about first year credit at UBC for those of you coming through those programs for which first year credit is a possibility for you. If you are granted first year credit for any of your IB or AP classes, you then as the student have the option to accept the credit and forego the course at UBC. Or what some students do is say, great, I've got the credit, but I'm going to take the course at UBC anyway, and I'm going to take the course at UBC, which is an option for you. It can be something that can be very helpful, especially if you are looking for ways to really get a strong foundation and a solid start to your new university experience. Because you are probably very familiar with the material and would have a chance to maybe do quite well in those classes. Sometimes students who opt to take the credit have that year gap between what they learned in high school and then attempting second year courses in that discipline, and that can sometimes be a bit of a leap. Every student situation, however, is completely different. So if you are curious about what the right decision is for you, that's where I would recommend you reach out to an academic advisor. And then as well in the Roots course that you'll all be invited into in May, we'll have some specific information in there about first year credit as well, so that you can make effective decisions that are the best for you and your set of circumstances. So I hope that helps. Alicia, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so I took a few AP courses in high school and I did get credit for one of my exams, which was AP Psychology. And so overall, I got 6 credits worth. So I did not have to take first year psychology in my time at UBC. However, I do want to bring some complexity. So if you want to do dietetics or medical school or any of those types of programs, sometimes they want to see what grade you got in university for taking this course. So let's say you took AP Bio and now you have you passed the exam and now you can choose to not take biology in first year at UBC. If you're looking at specific medical schools or dietetics, they want to see the grade you got compared to like in a university system. So they would actually maybe not accept your like AP or IB credit into their admission standards. But every single like medical school, dietetics school is different. So I would say like do some digging around about what schools you might want to go into, but just be careful that like sometimes the credit you need to take the class at university.
Really good advice, thank you. I'm just noticing the time. I know there are still quite a few questions in Slido, which we will aim to get through all of them shortly, but I just want to come back to share my screen to close out the presentation so that those of you who are looking to log off will have the opportunity to do so. So you can all see the presentation again? Yes? Okay, fantastic. So I just want to jump ahead just to let you know that this is one of many events that we're, one of many events that we're running this week for LFS Welcomes You. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more, specifically if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the individual programs, food, nutrition and health, and applied biology, if you're able to join us tomorrow, I encourage you to register and come to the deep dive sessions that we run, where you will have a chance to meet our dean, Ricky Yada, as well as then go into breakout rooms where you're going to have a deeper dive into each of these degree programs, hear from faculty members, current students, and an academic advisor from LFS Student Services to really understand a little bit more about these different programs so that you can start to decide whether or not it's a good fit for you. So if you're open and available, same time tomorrow, all done over Zoom, you can still register, no fear. So I really encourage you to come to that if you'd like to learn a little bit more. And then Wednesday evening, same time over Zoom, will be the Land 1 info session with Fernanda, where you'll get a chance to learn a little bit more about that program and to know whether or not that's a program to which you would like to apply and be considered. Really amazing opportunity to hear from current Land 1 students and meet advisors from forestry and LFS. And like I said, meet the wonderful Fernanda. I can't say enough great things about her. If she doesn't sell you on Land 1, nobody will. But she's just fantastically passionate and will share a little bit about that program with all of you. And then this Thursday, our dedicated career strategist, Allison, will be providing an information session on career paths in LFS. So if you're curious to learn a little bit more about what career literacy looks like, how you build career experiences as an undergraduate student, where and how Allison engages with you as an undergrad, and then also kind of what your different career paths and options might be after graduation, that's a really great session and I encourage you to attend if you're able. We did already go through kind of the next steps in terms of marking your calendar, so I won't repeat that again. But if you do have any follow-up questions, if you need to log off today, any questions that weren't answered or any questions that are maybe more specific to your situation that you would like to bring forward for discussion, academic advisors and student services are available to meet with you. If you just want to send us an email, we'd be happy to set something up with you. If you would like to chat with a student about your experiences or to learn a little bit more about the student experience in LFS, Ayasha and her team of student ambassadors can answer questions at the email that's posted there and set up a Zoom appointment with you if that's helpful to go through your questions about being a student in LFS and share a little bit more about that with you. If you're following, if you're on Instagram and would like to follow us, we encourage you to connect with us in a couple different ways. The general faculty Instagram channel is at the bottom there at UBC LFS, but we have a dedicated Instagram channel for all undergraduate students, strictly from our student services team. The newsletter is a regularly scheduled e-newsletter that goes into your inbox from our team, and the newsletter Instagram is a complement to that, which we post to all the time. Good information there and fun content, and you can check it out if you feel like that's something you'd be interested in. And then our website's down here at the bottom, so I encourage you to screen grab or take a photo of this before you log off today. On behalf of myself, Dean Ricky Yada, the entire team in Student Services, the ambassadors together with Ayasha, as well as Beth and Alicia, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are really happy for you. Congratulations on your offer of admission to UBC and the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, and we hope to see you all on campus this fall.